Hello and good afternoon. I'm Amin Carlos. You're watching News on 2. Well, 16 more schools in Pasir Gudang, Johor will close for 4 days starting today. Now, all the schools are within a 6-kilometer radius from Sekolah Agama Taman Mawar in Pasir Gudang, where 15 students suffered breathing difficulties believed to be caused by air pollution in the area on Thursday. Now, the closure will bring the number of schools closed to 19, including the 3 schools which were ordered to shut on Saturday. Johor Health, Culture and Heritage Committee Chairman Muhammad Kuzan Abu Bakar said the new 4-day closure until Thursday, 27 June, will involve, among others, Sekolah Kebangsaan SK Bukit Dahlia, SK Taman Cahaya Masai, SK Felda Cahaya Baru, SK Kong Kong Laut, SK Taman Nusa Damai, SK Kopok, and SK Kota Masai Tiga. The other schools are SK Taman Cendana, Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan SMK Taman Nusa Damai, SMK Pasir Gudang, SMK Kota Masai, and Sekolah Jenis Kebangsaan Tamil Pasir Gudang, SK Taman Saintex, and SMK Taman Saintex. Also involved are public educational institutions, Johor government, religious schools, all preschools and kindergartens. Muhammad Kuzan said the decision to close the schools involving more than 20,000 students was a precautionary measure after breathing difficulties and vomiting was reported again in the area at 11 a.m. yesterday. To date, the Department of Environment, DOE, and other agencies were working to identify the true cause of the incident. Well, a total of 14 people living at a shop house near City Plaza in Alor, Kedah are suspected of having chikungunya after exhibiting symptoms of fever, severe joint pains and rashes. Well, Kedah State Health Department Director Dr. Nurhizan Ismail said the investigation was conducted immediately by the Alor District Health Office after the case went viral on social media on Saturday. Dr. Nurhizan said initial investigations found the symptoms began on 9th June and most of those affected had received outpatient treatment at private clinics in and around Alor and their condition was reported to be stable. While preliminary investigations based on signs and symptoms suggest that those aged between 35 and 50 are likely to have chikungunya disease. However, a possibility of other illnesses are not ruled out as well. In this regard, further investigations are still ongoing, including sending samples for laboratory testing at the National Public Health Laboratory in Sungai Buloh, Selangor. Dr. Nurhizan said the department was currently taking prevention and control measures, including active case detection or ACD around the area. He added that people with symptoms of fever and joint pains, especially residents of Jalan Tunku Ibrahim around City Plaza, are advised to seek further treatment at nearby health facilities. 2 men believed to be among Trenggano's biggest drug dealers were arrested in separate police raids in Kuala Terengganu with drugs worth almost 100,000 ringgit seized. Terengganu Police Chief Dato' Aidi Ismail said the first arrest involved a 25-year-old sundry shop assistant who was nabbed in a house garage in Jalan Kubang Buyong at noon at 19 June. The next day, police arrested an unemployed man aged 22 opposite an eatery in Kampong Titian Batu at about 1 a.m. Dato' Aidi said from the second arrest, police seized a kilogram of shabu, 400 grams of amphetamine and 1.5 liters of codeine. He said the seizure was the largest in the state so far this year. Dato' Aidi added early investigations reveal that both cases are linked to each other and police believe both the arrests will lead to more arrests in the state. The state police chief further noted that the first suspect tested negative for drug use and had no previous criminal record, but the second tested positive for methamphetamine and was involved in 2 drug cases before this. Both suspects are being investigated under Section 39B of the Dangerous Drugs Act 1952. Well, Johor Education, Human Resource Science and Technology Committee Chairman Aminul Huda Hassan said the result of the post-mortem to determine what actually caused the death of 3 elephants in Kampong Seri Timur in Kluang, Johor earlier this month will be known in 3 months. Well, he said samples of the pachyderms, including their kidney and liver, had been sent to the chemistry department to be analyzed. Said initial investigation by the Wildlife and National Park Department found the elephants had been poisoned, and such a case is not the first in Johor, as a similar incident occurred last year near the same area involving a male elephant. Following the incident, Aminul Huda said the Wildlife Department had stepped up monitoring in the area. He also said as for residents in villages involved in elephant-human conflict, they are advised to set up an action team to address the problem. Meanwhile, the Wildlife Department had identified 5 villages that were frequently enroached by elephants, namely Kampung Sri Lukut, Kampung Sri Timur, Felda Kahang Timur, Felda Kahang Barat, and Felda Ulu Dengar. On the elephant sanctuary, second phase development covering a 57.234 hectare site in Kota Tinggi, Aminul Huda said it was in progress and would be handed over to the Johor Wildlife Department either in October or November this year. Well, Kuala Pilah Member of Parliament Edin Shazli Sith is optimistic the district will also benefit from the development of the East Coast Rail Link or ECRL project in Jelebu. Now, Edin Shazli, who is also Deputy Communications and Multimedia Minister, said that although it would be implemented in Jelebu, it could impact on the overall economy of the state, including Kuala Pilah, which is near the state capital, Seremban.
Terlibat secara langsung kerana laluan yang paling hampir dengan kita adalah di Jelebu, kata saya. Walau bagaimanapun, apa juga yang menyumbang kepada pertumbuhan ekonomi bagi bandar seperti Bandar Seremban sedikit sebanyak akan memberi impak dan kesan kepada bandar-bandar yang berdekatan seperti Bandar Kuala Pilah, Jempol dan juga Tampin misalnya. Dan sudah tentulah kita akan dapat menerima kesan, kalau tak banyak pun sikit ada insyaAllah.
He spoke when met at an Ideal Fitri celebration he organized at Dewan Dato' Bahaman, Kuala Pilah yesterday. He said this when answering to a question from reporters whether the project was capable of giving an economic spatter, including employment opportunities, to the residents in the Kuala Pilah district. Minister of Transport Anthony Loke Siu Fook on 16 June was quoted as saying that the mega project's alignment plan would be finalized this year and the acquisition of land is expected to be carried out next year. Well, Finance Minister Lim Guan Eng said the government will pursue its initiative to acquire other highway concessionaires if the recent bid to take over 4 tolled highways and toll collection formulas are successful. Well, it said the takeover of the 4 tolled highways is a pilot project as part of ongoing efforts to lessen the people's burden by reducing the toll rates at specific hours, with rates reduced by 5, 10, 15 and up to 30% during non-peak hours and the normal rate during peak hours. Elaborating further, Lim said the government also does not have to bear the costs because when bonds are issued to finance the purchase, the acquisition will be serviced by the toll collected, and even with reduced toll rates, the government can still afford to service the DIBs.
Sekiranya semua berjalan lancar, dapat disetujui dalam bulan 9-10 tahun depan, kita boleh lihat pengurangan kadar tol untuk keempat lebuh-raya ini. Nah, sekiranya formula ini boleh jalan, ini kita akan lihat untuk tol atau lebuh-raya yang lain.
Recently, Lim said the government has formally handed over offer letters to 4 toll concessionaires with an enterprise value of 6.2 billion ringgit. The 4 tolled highway concessions in which Gamuda Berhad has a significant stake are the Damansara Puchong Highway (LDP), Sistem Penyuraian Traffic KL Barat Sprint, Shah Alam Expressway Kasas, and the Storm Water Management and Road Tunnel SMART. Now, Rural Development Minister Datuk Sri Rina Harun said the number of small and medium entrepreneurs registered with the ministry now stands at 83,968. While she said from the total, 27% are women entrepreneurs engaged in various businesses. Dr. Sri Rina said she believed many more entrepreneurs have yet to register their business, especially with the Companies Commission of Malaysia, SSM, for fear of getting audited by the Inland Revenue Board, LHDN. She also said they are worried that if they register with SSM, they would not be receiving living aid or BSH. The minister said this after opening Wacana Ilmu Wanita Inspirasiku WINS in Kelantan, which was also attended by South Kelantan Development Authority Kesedah Chairman Dato' Sazmi Mia. She said her ministry is now trying to change the mind of such entrepreneurs to look further so that they are able to expand their business in future. Datuk Sri Rina added that the ministry wants entrepreneurs to have a positive view so that they can help others. Well, Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad called on international monitoring bodies to monitor the deportation process of Rohingya refugees. Well, he said this was because the deportation plan for the Rohingya refugees showed that their opinions were not taken into consideration.
Mereka berasa takut untuk kembali ke Rakhine State. Dan kita harap kalau mereka kembali, the international community ni bolehlah supervise, ensure dia balik ni mereka tak kena tindakan-tindakan tertentu oleh Rakhine State dan Myanmar.
The Premier said this after concluding his 4-day working visit to Thailand in conjunction with the 34th ASEAN Summit yesterday. Rohingya issue was among the concerns raised by the Malaysian Premier at the summit. According to Amnesty International, more than 750,000 Rohingya refugees, mostly women and children, have fled Myanmar and crossed into Bangladesh after Myanmar forces launched a crackdown on the minority Muslim community in August 2017. Well, on another note, Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad stressed that procedures, processes and laws must be implemented to boost intra-ASEAN trade. The Premier noted the issues that emerged during the summit retreat session included the fact that trade among ASEAN countries was small. Commenting further on the matter, Tun Dr. Mahathir said there is an urgent need for ASEAN to come up with special efforts to increase trade within the region.
Tapi satu lagi idea ialah kita tentukan apakah yang kita import ke dalam ASEAN. Dan banyak barangan ini mungkin kita juga mengeluarkan, iaitu import substitute. Itu adalah satu cara negara-negara memperkenalkan industri ke negara mereka.
The Premier further noted that ASEAN welcomes foreign direct investments, FDI, and that a lot of projects have been identified and carried out in each country. Well, meanwhile, Tun Dr. Mahathir rejected the notion that ASEAN was dormant, arguing that many activities were ongoing in the sub-regional areas, including the Indonesia-Malaysia-Thailand Growth Triangle, IMTGT. The Premier said many projects under Indonesia-Malaysia-Thailand Growth Triangle, IMTGT, and sub-regional cooperation with ASEAN, known as the East Asian Growth Area, BEMPIAGA, have been completed.
Quite a lot of progress. Many people have asked me, said that ASEAN is dormant, but it is not dormant. A lot of things were done, and even in the sub-regional area like BEMPIAGA and IMTGT, all these sub-region will achieve quite a lot of growth, and there are plans to improve the growth further.
Tun Dr. Mahathir also said that ASEAN are facilitating better communication so that people can do more business easily with each other's countries. He also said that most of the projects planned under Brunei Darussalam, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, East Asian Growth Area, BEMPIAGA, and IMTGT have been completed, including roads, ports and airports. The Premier added that ASEAN had a lot of potential and the region could play a more active role. In our sports news, Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad said ASEAN's proposed joint bid to host the FIFA World Cup in 2034 will boost the region's chances of getting it. Well, he said the said 5 ASEAN countries had mooted the idea during the 34th ASEAN Summit.
Might be able to hold the World Cup, and of course we can have the games played in all the ASEAN countries, like Japan and Korea.
Earlier, the 10-member ASEAN approved a proposal to make a collective bid to host the FIFA World Cup in 2034. Thailand Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha announced that the decision reached by the Southeast Asian leaders on reaching for the dream of hosting the biggest football tournament during the summit talks in Bangkok. The Thai Prime Minister had also called on the public to support the football teams in the region. The ASEAN foreign ministers earlier proposed the World Cup hosting gig to their leaders, and the proposal was forwarded during the 34th ASEAN Summit for the leaders' consideration. Japan and South Korea previously co-hosted the World Cup finals in 2002. Back on the local front, national men's singles badminton player Sung Ju Ven won his first Malaysia International Series title after overcoming compatriot Chiam Jin Hui in the final at the Perak Badminton Arena in Ipoh yesterday. While playing in front of about 500 spectators, Ju Ven, who was the competition's top seed, took 47 minutes to beat Ju Hui 21-13, 22-20. Ju Ven said he was happy to have won the tournament for the first time since it was introduced in 2016. Well, he said although it was not a big tournament, the players who took part in this time around were of high quality. The 24-year-old Kuala Lumpur-born player said his target this year was to play in bigger tournaments and at least reach number 40 in the world rankings.
I think from the first round until now, it's not an easy game. It's not never once an easy game because everyone can play, and then everyone train as hard as me also. And I just focus and try to do my best. That's all. Of course, my next target will be breaking into the top 40, and hopefully I can play in a higher tour tournament like what I said just now.
Meanwhile, national pair Pearly Tan Kulay and M. Tina won the women's doubles title after defeating Indonesians Fabriana Dwi Puji Kusuma and Ribka Sugiarto 21-16, 11-21, 21-18. National men's doubles pair of Lo Hang Yi and Ng Eng Chong, however, were defeated by Indonesia's Leo Rolly Hernando and Daniel Martin 21-17, 17-21, 11-21 in the final of the event. Yoon Ki-chuan, the country's female singles player, also fell to 7th-seeded Sri Fatmawati of Indonesia 19-21, 8-21 in a 34-minute-long final match. That concludes this afternoon's News on 2. In our top story, 16 more schools in Pasir Gudang closed for 4 days. Join us again at 7 this evening. I'm Mohammed Amin Carlos. Thanks for watching.